Hey guys, good morning. It is Jessie, and today I have a comic book review for you today. I'm super excited. So I have a collection of 5 titles, and I'm just going to kind of run through them pretty quickly and give you a little bit of a rundown of my thoughts, what these comics are about, and all of that good stuff. So let's go ahead and just jump in. The first one I have for you is Miss Marvel, Volume 1, and this is called No Normal. And this is about a girl named Kamala who gets these like superpowers and becomes obviously Miss Marvel. So what I liked about this was the art. I thought it was really fantastic. It's a really beautiful artwork, and the coloring and everything is just fantastic, but I think what I was really missing from this was a stronger story. I don't know if it just needed to be, like, a better foundation needed to be built or whatever, because I do think it was okay, it just wasn't great. And I feel like a lot of this too is just being built up for the rest of the story that's to follow, and I have heard that the following volumes like 2 and 3 do get a little bit better. So I'm hoping that with volume 2 things will pick up. Otherwise I'm not sure if I will continue on with it. But for now, I just didn't think all the hype was as great about this so far, so like I said, I'm just looking forward to continuing with it, just because I wasn't really wowed, and I totally expected to be with all of the hype. So I was also really confused on to how quickly she conquered these like powers. Like, I feel like there should have been a little bit more struggle or like learning on her end of things, and I feel like everything just sped up really quickly through that phase of her life, and I feel like it should have been slowed down in this volume, really get to know her and her getting to know these new powers and everything like that. And the other big thing that was kind of involved in this issue was the fact that people were talking about how great the diversity in it is. I do agree that we were getting a lot of diversity within the characters, especially because Kamala is the main character and she is from India, and so I think that these played a very large role, and I do like the diversity that was in it. I just wish that there would have been a little bit more to the characters and really allow them to stand out, because for right now, at least, I really felt like it relied a little bit too much on some of the stereotypical things of an Indian family. So I just wish, like I said, there would have been something else to really pull these characters and allow me to just kind of be like impressed by them. Like I mentioned, I do plan on continuing on with this just to see if it's going to get any better, if it will give us more backstory and just kind of prove me wrong. But as of right now, I just wasn't totally sold on this. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and yeah, so let me know if you've read the volume 2 or 3, what you thought, if it does continue to get better. Otherwise, might not stick to it. Then I have Rat Queens, and this is volume 1, Sass and Sorcery. This is about 4 mercenary girls, Betty, Dee, Hannah, and Violet, and they are sent to clean out goblins in a surrounding town. They end up getting much more than they ended up bargaining for. So right out of the gate, this jumps straight into a lot of action. It's really great. Again, really awesome graphics and the artwork and the coloring, and I really did enjoy this. So from that first battle we get, their whole group survives the battle, but there are other groups that were also sent out that weren't quite as lucky. As the story kind of continues, these other stories start to unravel as well, and there are so many things happening that I did feel slightly confused as the girls were trying to also piece together what was happening. So on one hand, I didn't like that I was so confused and didn't know enough about these characters or what was really happening. I also liked it because I felt like I was part of the girls trying to piece together this mystery of what the heck is going on and who is picking off these mercenaries and how they will retaliate. So it is time for them to team up with the other groups, and they go into battle. There's like a revenge of these trolls that they had taken on with the loss of one of their own, so from that opening scene. So it's really interesting. I'm curious to see what happens next because there was a lot left hanging in this. It does have some graphic language and some of the imagery, but it did grab my attention. It had me laughing, and I've decided that Betty is totally my favorite. She just was killing me in this one. So like I said, while I was kind of partial to some of the confusion that I was having during this, I think it did kind of work well with what was actually happening. So I am going to continue on. I did just get volumes 2 and 3, so I'm very happy to jump in and continue on with this because I gave this a 5 out of 5 and can't wait to continue. So the next comics I have are all a part of a series, so I'm kind of just going to breeze through them a little bit because I don't want to give too much away for the following volumes that are kind of all included here, but they are Sweet Tooth Volume 4, 5, and 6. If you guys don't know much about the series, it is about a main character named Gus who is in this world where humanity is kind of coming to an end, but before it can be totally wiped out by this disease and this plague, these human breeds and human-animal breeds are starting to appear, and it's just this journey of trying to get to the bottom of how it all started, what's going on, where these hybrids came from, and all of that. So it's very interesting, very quick-paced, action-packed, and totally gripping, and had my attention the entire way. I absolutely loved it, so let's go. So with volume 4, this is Endangered Species, and we pick up with Gus and Jeopard and the gang, and they're all hanging out in the woods. They're trying to gear up for their trip to Alaska. It seems that everything is going to be, you know, all fine and dandy and almost too good to be true, and like always in this, things take a turn. So 2 of their members end up not returning to camp, so Gus and Jeopard go to look for them. They end up finding them and realize that they are not the only ones in the woods, and in the meantime, that other group comes across Jeopard and Gus's group, and, you know, some things happen. So a fight breaks out, and as usual, Jeopard is there to show up and save them all, and just continues to be the badass guy that he is. We are also introduced into a really creepy character named Walter Fish, and the group is taken to his safe haven called the Dam. It was a really great find, but at what cost to this group? So there is a lot of foreboding in here of what's to come, and you're left on another major cliffhanger. I tell you, this thing, it was constantly just picking up traction as the series continued to get on. It just got better and better, and I gave this a 5 out of 5. Then you have volume 5, which is called Wild Game. So it picks up again. This time we are taken back in time to when the plague actually was starting. And we get to read all about Dr. James Thacker's journal as he embarks on this journey to Alaska. He is there to find his future brother-in-law who ended up going missing. And so there's a lot of constant warning signs for James Thacker, and he just doesn't turn back. He continues to pursue, even with the breakout. Answers are revealed, and sadly, it wasn't at all what I was expecting. And to be honest, I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first. I was a little bit disappointed in what was happening. It just didn't turn out as I thought, and so I wasn't sure, like I said, how I was going to feel about it. So I decided just to keep continuing, see how it all pulled together. So aside from the story, there was also a new artist that was doing the beginning part when the plague started, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I don't think it ruined it, but I didn't love it. Then as we jump back to the current day with Gus and Jeopard, things in their group were rough, emotions were running really high, and I felt like this volume just didn't have as much momentum as the others had, and it was slightly disappointing, like I had mentioned. So I was curious to see how the series would wrap up, come together, finish, and I wanted to see if some of my questions got answered. I gave this a 4 out of 5. Like I said, just didn't love it as much, but it was still good. Lastly, I have volume 6, and this one is Unnatural Habitats. The group finally makes it up to Alaska, and while we do get some answers, I don't feel like they were that well done. I was a little disappointed in what we were receiving because there was all this hype and all this buildup, and it just wasn't what I thought. I was kind of let down, so I really wish it would have focused more on some of those answers, because I felt like over the past 5, like I said, they just built it up, and then it kind of just got swept under a rug. I wasn't satisfied or getting what I wanted out of it, honestly. However, Gus did become a badass. A war broke out, and we did get closure. I did get punched in the gut, even though I saw it coming. Like I said, there was a bunch of foreboding and clues as to what was coming, and it still kind of took me by surprise, and like I said, kind of gave me a punch and took my breath away. I loved how action-packed it was, and it left me feeling slightly better about not getting all the answers I wanted, because there was a few other little twists I didn't see. I did give this a 5 out of 5 just because of how much I enjoyed the satisfying ending and the series as a whole. Sweet Tooth may be the only post-apocalyptic comic I've ever read, but it will forever be one of my favorites. I really hope you guys will pick up the series, especially if you're fans of Walking Dead. I know I've just kind of reiterate this over and over, but it is so fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I will highly recommend this to anybody. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And if you guys want to see a full comic wrap-up of just this series alone, go a little bit further in depth on things, and even get my husband's opinion on it, please click the thumbs up below so that I can show him, like, hey, people want this. Otherwise, there's no way I'm getting in front of the camera. But yeah, I would love to share, because this was a series that we read together and really enjoyed. So it was awesome. I hope you guys check it out. And yeah. Alright guys, so those are the last 5 comics I read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely hope that you will pick them up, at least Sweet Tooth. I just can't recommend it enough. I just absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. And yeah, so the rest of our Saturday we are going to spend up in the mountains. We have an engagement shoot up there, so I'm very excited. If you guys want to follow along, I will do my best to post either on my personal and business Instagram or on Snapchat. I will leave all the links below if you guys are interested in following. Otherwise, I hope you have a great Saturday. I look forward to chatting more with you guys later. Have a great weekend. Bye.